This is an exciting time for the small community of Wonowon and the work that you've done towards getting to this point. I thank you for your patience because we've been working at it for a while. I want to thank also our staff. They have worked very hard to bring together what you're going to see this evening. A little over a year ago, when this pandemic was just really taking hold, they came up with a way of holding meetings that was acceptable to our provincial counterparts and allowed us to go ahead and meet, even though it's not face-to-face, called virtual town hall meetings. So patience is always a virtue. Technology is never easy. So we're going to start, and hopefully it won't be long before we will again be able to meet face-to-face, maybe even by the time we do our second meeting. Until then, this is the best way for us to follow the guidelines and the rules from the province and the provincial health officer to be able to move ahead at all. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Karen Goodings, and I am the Electoral Area B Director, and Wonowon is a community within Area B. Presenting with me tonight is Crystal Brown. Hi, Crystal. Crystal is our Regional District Electoral Area Manager. We also have a number of staff. I'm not going to introduce them all, but they're working behind the scenes tonight to make sure that this meeting goes as smoothly as it possibly can. So we'll be moving right into the agenda. So the agenda for tonight is a presentation, and we're going to follow that presentation with a question and answer session. We have an hour, so we have lots of time for questions, and certainly have lots of time for the discussion and for the answers. Hopefully we'll be able to answer all the questions. If not, we'll get back to you with that. The purpose of our meeting, of course, is to share the information about the 101 Community Improvement Feasibility Study, to address any questions you may have about the project, and also for us to get some very, very important feedback. We need your input. We need your input on which ones of the proposed option for trail development, lighting, road upgrades, and which ones of these do you want the PRD to pursue on your behalf. Are residents in favor of creating a benefiting area to pay for those capital costs and ongoing operations and maintenance in the future? Which funding option for capital costs would the residents like the PRD to pursue? Before we begin the presentation, I want to let you know that at this point you are muted. Our chat function that allows you to ask questions is actually turned off. After the presentation, you will be able to make comments or ask questions. Raise your hand in Zoom and our moderator will unmute you so that you can ask your question. And you can also ask questions anytime using the Q&A function in Zoom. I think we'll have a bit of an explanation on how that works in a minute or two. Depending on how many questions we get, and we hope we get lots, we'll do our best to answer them in the order in which they come in. You should also be aware that this meeting is being recorded and will be posted to the website for future viewing. So anybody who's missing the meeting tonight will still be able to get in on it. Let's begin. Crystal, over to you.
Thank you, Director Gooding. So in the fall of 2019, residents of Wonowon submitted a petition to the Peace River Regional District expressing safety concerns for the children walking to and from school, and requested that the district undertake a feasibility study to look at options and costs for the development of a trail with lighting throughout the 101 subdivision, in addition to upgrading an existing road. To conduct the feasibility study, Urban Systems distributed a survey to residents regarding options and uses for the trail and road. They held discussions with the Ministry of Transportation and Infrastructure, otherwise known as MOTI, regarding road design templates and maintenance expectations. They developed trail and street lighting concept plans, including trail placement relative to property lines. They developed cross sections for the road to meet MOTI standards and developed cost estimates for trail development, street lighting, and road upgrades. Based on the survey results, children walking to and from school, cycling, and recreation were the most anticipated trail uses, with over 80% of people that filled out the survey saying that they would do these activities often. Using the trail to access the highway by walking or cycling was also fairly popular, with over 60% saying that they would do this activity often. and 40% of the people said that they would use the trail to commute to work. 80% of those that took the survey thought that trail lighting was necessary, while only 25% thought it was important to have enough lighting for facial recognition. Asphalt was the preferred surface for the trail, with gravel being strongly disliked. The proposed trail concept is 2.9 kilometers long, and as you can see here, the proposed route is along the north side of the road shown in pink. This side of the road was chosen based on existing MODI right-of-way and property lines. On the south side of the road, there is minimal separation between the road and property line, which will prevent the ability to develop the trail to the standards required and accommodate features requested by the residents. The amount of clearing, property acquisition, and ditching required presents many challenges, and based on the work completed during the feasibility study, trail development on the south side is not feasible. To visualize the layout of the different options presented by Urban Systems, please refer to the trail concepts presented in project documents on Have Your Say. Based on the survey results, potholes, soft spots, drainage, and dangers to pedestrians were the highest priority items identified, with greater than 80% of people naming these as moderate to major issues. Road width, visibility, sight lines, and speed of travel was also identified. However, there was less consensus among respondents. Asphalt was preferred over gravel, and chip seal was generally disliked, but not as much as gravel. 75% of respondents wanted an urban standard of street lighting similar to Fort St. John. The proposed road concept is 3.3 kilometers long and 8.5 meters wide, with 3.7 meter wide lanes, 0.5 meter shoulders on either side, and 3-to-1 ditches where possible. These dimensions were chosen as they meet or exceed the MODI provincial low volume road standard and have a suitable ditch profile for this region. There is a separate Peace District low volume road standard that does require a wider lane width and thicker gravel structure. Due to space constraints, it was not chosen. In discussions with MODI, widening the road from the current width was discussed, and it was not seen to be necessary. However, if MODI later determines that the Peace River Low Volume Road Standard is required, then this will likely increase the cost for all road options. In the initial survey, 25% of people said that they would not relinquish any land to build the trail. With that being said, it should be noted that because of the design of the existing road right-of-ways and the space available, in order for the project to work, there will be a need for land acquisition. All residents along the project route should be comfortable with a strip of property acquisition between 3 to 5 meters. It is possible that the strip of property acquisition may be less or not at all, depending on location. However, we need buy-in from the residents regardless of what side of the road in order to make this work. How land will be acquired will be a key consideration as part of the decision-making process moving forward. So now we're going to go over the 5 different options that Urban Systems prepared for us. The first option in front of you is the urban standard. This includes an asphalt road with ditching and culvert upgrades, an asphalt trail, full street lighting, and full trail lighting, with a capital cost of $14.6 million. Option 2 is an improved rural standard. This includes a chip-sealed road with ditching and culvert upgrades, an asphalt trail, street lighting at intersections only, and full trail lighting. This comes with a capital cost of $11.7 million. Option 3 is the rural standard. It comes with an upgraded gravel road with ditching and culvert upgrades, a gravel trail, and full trail lighting. However, there is no street lighting. This one comes at a capital cost of $10.6 million. Option 4 is for the trail only. There would be no upgrades with this option to the road. It would have an asphalt trail and full trail lighting. The capital cost for this one is $3.5 million. And the last option is for a gravel trail only with full trail lighting. there would be no upgrades to the road and no street lighting. This one would be $3.3 million for capital cost. So on this slide here, you can see all 5 options compared next to each other. As you can see, they range from $14.6 million down to $3 million. Based on the preliminary survey costs or results, option 1 at $14.6 million was the preferred option. I also want to note that these costs are based on a Class D estimate and are based on 2020 rates. Based on the option chosen by the residents, actual costs will be billed based on what they really cost. So, key considerations when comparing road options include, if the road upgrades are completed, the upgraded road will become an asset owned by MODI. MODI will be responsible for providing ongoing maintenance and will cover the cost. Maintenance includes snow clearing, pothole repair, and crack sealing. One important thing to note that it is possible that the level of service for the upgraded road will not meet residents' expectations. What this means is just because the road may be upgraded, it doesn't mean that the level of service on the road will also upgrade. However, residents may choose to complete some of the maintenance themselves with an appropriate permit from MODI to ensure a particular level of service. For a gravel road surface, it may be as simple as hiring a grader periodically. However, for asphalt and chip seal repairs, this typically requires specialized equipment and techniques that are not readily available. MODI will also be responsible for resurfacing the road if and when the time comes. Just like maintenance, it is possible that the timeline for replacement may not meet the residents' expectations. Unlike road maintenance, replacement is costly and complex and may not be feasible for the residents to do. Key considerations when comparing trail and lighting options include, MODI supports the idea of constructing a trail as long as construction doesn't impact the road or drainage. However, they will not be funding maintenance or construction of the trail. If the trail is developed, the trail will become an asset owned by the Peace River Regional District. Residents will be responsible for paying operation and maintenance costs for both the trail and the lighting. Operation and maintenance activities include snow clearing, grading, mowing around the trail, crack sealing, pothole maintenance, trail lighting maintenance, inspection, and eventual replacement. It is important to note that the asphalt trail option will require specialized equipment, and therefore maintenance will be more costly for residents compared to a gravel surface. Engagement regarding maintenance expectations will be a key consideration as part of the decision-making process moving forward. Funding for the project can come from a variety of funding sources. It can come from Peace River Regional District grants, federal and provincial grants, corporate and community donations, community fundraising, and local taxes. Timeline for the project will be dependent upon funding sources. For example, grants have particular build timelines, and when applying for a grant, no work can be completed while you're waiting to hear if the grant was successful or not. Also, prior to any work on the proposed service, the Peace River Regional District will need to establish a benefiting area for the project. The benefiting area is the portion of residents who will be taxed to pay for the project. The proposed benefiting area for this project is the School District 60 Wonowon Elementary School catchment area. You can view the proposed benefiting area on Have Your Say. There's a map available where you can scroll in to see if you will be located in or outside of the proposed area. Defining those benefiting area boundaries will be a key consideration as part of the decision-making process moving forward. So, what would that mean for my capital taxes, or for my taxes? The chart in front of you today is based on 100% taxation for capital costs only, using the existing 101 elementary school catchment area over a 10-year repayment period. The information provided here is to be used as a guide only. It is based on current interest rates and assessment values for the 101 elementary school catchment area. Actual tax rates will be determined based on the amount of grants received, actual construction costs, interest rates, the size and assessment value of the actual benefiting area, and repayment options. It is important to note that based on the survey results, most respondents were comfortable with a tax increase to fund the upgrades. However, only 41% of respondents were comfortable with a tax increase of up to $200. 33% were comfortable with a tax increase of up to $500, and 15% of respondents were comfortable with a tax increase of up to $1,000. Using the chart in front of you, if residents were to choose option 1, the urban standard, and the value of your home with land and improvements was $500,000, you would pay on your taxes approximately $1,366.50 each year for a period of 10 years. If residents choose option 5, which is the gravel trail with trail lighting, and the value of your home with land and improvements is $500,000, you would pay on your taxes approximately $273.35 each year for 10 years. Again, these are capital costs only. Once residents choose which option to move forward with, we'll be able to provide an estimate on what the actual cost for your taxes will be, including operation and maintenance and capital. Funding for both capital and operational costs will be a key consideration as part of the decision-making process moving forward. So, next steps. The trail and road improvements in Wonowon have the potential to increase safety in the community and give the residents an option for recreation near their homes. Due to the length of the proposed trail, the proposed upgrades, and the lighting upgrades, there are significant costs involved. The decision whether to proceed with some or all of the work will be dependent on available grants and support from community members. So, what do we need from you next? We need you to go on to have your say and fill out survey number 2. It is available live right now. We need to know what option you guys would like us to proceed with and what your level of expectation is for maintenance. Based on the survey results, we can refine capital and operating costs and develop a timeline for potential referendum. After that, we're hoping to have a follow-up Zoom meeting in 6 to 8 weeks from now.
Great, thanks, Crystal. Very well put together, I might add. So we are now to the point where we can move into the question and answer period. And I will be trying to address most of the questions. The tough ones I'll turn over to staff because I know they'll be able to answer them better than me. And our moderator is soon going to give you some technical detail for those of you who have not used Zoom, and they can guide you through as to how to ask your questions. So for that, we have a staff member by the name of Hunter. Hunter, your turn.
Thanks, Director Goodings. To review how this works, at this point you are muted. If you called into the meeting, press *9 to raise your hand and then *6 when prompted. State your name and ask your question clearly. If you logged in via Zoom, use the raise hand feature or the Q&A function. Please note that submitted questions will be reviewed by the moderator before they are submitted to the director. Please try to avoid speaking over others and be courteous to others. Depending on how many we get, we'll do our best to answer them all in the order in which they came in. Thank you, everyone. We are now ready to take your questions.
So who has the first question?
Okay, we have a question from Edward. Will the trail along the 101 road run on the east or the west side of the road?
Okay, now that one I'm going to ask staff or possibly somebody from Urban Systems to make sure that we are stating the answer correctly.
Graham, would you be able to take that one, please?
Absolutely. So the trail is shown on the west side of Wonowon Road. There was a lot more space on the west side than the east side. Yeah.
Okay.
But like Crystal said before, regardless of your side of road, residents should
Sorry, Graham, we can't hear you.
comfortable with property acquisition, and having that discussion with the district. Did you hear the first part on the west side?
Yes, thanks, Graham. We did hear that. Yeah.
Okay.
Does that answer the question? Don't hear it didn't, so we'll go on to the next one. Anybody with questions? Now's your chance.
Can you hear me? Hello?
I think you're there. We can hear you now.
Are you speaking to me, Evelyn?
Yes. Go ahead, Evelyn. Yes.
Okay.
Go ahead, Evelyn.
Yeah, I have an issue with the benefit area. I don't see anyone outside of the subdivision itself benefiting from these improvements.
Okay, well, certainly, and Evelyn, I would say that we really do need to look at the benefiting area for this project and make sure that we are drawing the lines correctly. And so that's great input. And I'd like to hear from others as to how they feel. When we establish the benefiting area, that gives us the ability to determine what the taxation would be for each of the options that are there, and certainly, for the preferred option. So benefiting area is extremely important.
I would also like to add that on the survey number 2 that we have on Have Your Say, there is some questions around the benefiting area, and we are looking for more options from what the residents would like to see for those boundaries. So anybody that's on the call, or if you know anybody, please encourage people to fill it out and give us some impact. We use the existing benefiting area because it was an existing boundary, and it was easy to give reference of what the project could cost.
Thanks, Crystal. So make sure that you go on and fill out that second survey. That would be really critically important, Evelyn, if you don't mind. And please pass that on to anybody else that that you're speaking with. Any other questions?
We have another person on the phone. We've just given them access to talk. Go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hi, my name is Josh McIsaac. You hear me?
Hi, Josh.
Hi. So I'm just wondering about the big truck traffic. They're going to chew up this pavement if it's not going to be high standard asphalt. Like, it's going to be really, really tear that up quick. And also too, so you guys were talking about a low volume road travel. It's going to be higher than that, so it's going to get wrecked right away.
Okay, so we need to check the amount of traffic that would be using the road that you're suggesting, and also the standard that we're planning or that Moti is suggesting would be advisable. Does that sum it up? Okay.
Yeah, for sure. They're loaded tankers and unloaded tankers. They all park down the subdivision here, so yeah.
And so, Josh, these are people who reside within the subdivision that have the trucks that are hauling,
Park
right?
along the roadway. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
There's an option for them to park down the 103, so they don't even have to come down the subdivision road. But that would benefit everybody and also stop that road from getting chewed up.
Okay.
Also,
that's very good information.
Hey?
Oh, I said thank you. That's very good information to know.
Right.
Okay, and also too, I wanted to talk to you about the cost of the project, because is there any option to get solar with lights? And so there's no cost to tie in each pole? Like, can we talk to Modi about that?
Yeah,
Go ahead, Crystal. I mean, I certainly, from my point of view, I would suggest that we need to look at any option that is brought forward. And if solar could be a benefit in the long term, then that's certainly something we would want to look at.
Yeah, because if we get that surplus power, we can feed that back to the grid, and this could be a self-paying for option as well.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that for me?
So if we have the solar tied back into the grid, we can make
Oh, right,
surplus
right.
power and sell that back to BC Hydro.
Well, that would be nice.
Yeah, exactly. A refund instead of a bill.
For sure. Okay, that's noted. It's a good comments.
Thank you very much.
We have a question from Vitality. Are businesses stationed in 101 expected to participate through property taxes as well?
Okay, and so I guess I can probably answer that one because again, that depends on the benefiting area. If the benefiting area extends for the area that is being suggested, then I'm going to say yes, they would be. If the benefiting area is only the actual subdivision, then that would be a different story.
that's why it's really, really important that we get as much feedback from the residents and the businesses, everybody in 101, on what those boundaries should look like. So please, please fill that survey out and give us some ideas.
I'm really pleased to see that we have about 33 participants joining us tonight. And so I know there has to be more questions out there, and every question, no matter what it is important for us to be able to make sure that we're addressing those queries of the residents, because it's you that we are trying to work this for. We want to make sure that it works for you, and that that you get what you are hoping to have.
I see that Ted has his hand raised as well. Ted, go ahead and unmute yourself and ask your question.
Can't hear him.
Ted, you're not muted. Hit *6 to unmute yourself.
Ted, are you still there? Okay, I guess not.
So was it Ted that was going to ask the question? Was that the name that I heard you? So Ted, if you're having trouble, how can we get the question that you have? Somebody on the technical side, maybe Ian or somebody could help us out with that. Jeff?
Yeah, Director Goodings, and for all participants, there's the Q&A function in Zoom is at the bottom of your screen around the center, and just click on that and that'll give you an opportunity to ask a question that way.
Excellent. Thank you, Jeff. That helps. So Ted, if you could do that, Q&A at the bottom of the screen, kind of in the middle. You could put your question through that way.
For all of those joining us via phone, press *9 to raise your hand, and we will be able to unmute you. Question to ask.
No more questions coming in so far, Director Giddings.
Okay, I do see the number 2 at the Q&A at the bottom of the screen, and also one under chat. So not sure how you bring those on.
Director Goodings, it's Jeff again. It's Ms. Evelyn Baker who's having trouble hearing and is communicating with us through the
Okay.
Q&A on that.
Very good, thanks. Does anybody have a comment on what those options were looking like? Whether or not you think that, you know, that one option is far preferable or not preferable? I mean, this is an opportunity for us to hear from you, and that's what we're looking for, is to get the best information we can tonight.
I just received notification that some of you have already filled out the survey, which is amazing. Way to go.
Great. Super.
Keep going.
It would sure be nice if we could have a face-to-face meeting. Maybe,
Oh,
maybe
I
by
see. I was going to say there is another question that came in, Director Giddings.
Good.
The question is did you look into the possibility to ask oil companies working in the area to participate with donations for the project?
Not at this point, we have not, but that certainly is one of the options. And, you know, you do have a number of oil companies that are, you know, in the area. It very well could work towards being a good thing, but we won't know that, of course, until you've made the decision on which options and whether or not you wish to proceed. Once we know that, then we could be, you could be actually asking the oil companies to participate. And it'd be a great way. It gives them an opportunity to support you as a community.
We have a comment from Andy. It says, you guys are doing a great job. Looking forward to seeing the project started.
Oh, well, there's a good positive note. I like that. Got lots of time left. We're not in any rush.
Hello?
You know.
Hi.
Hi, guys. So it's Josh here again. I got Ted on the phone. He's on speakerphone.
Oh, excellent.
So I was able to just call him, and so he's able to make some comments here. Go ahead, Ted.
Excellent.
Yeah. Hello there. Is everybody can hear me there?
Yes, go ahead, Ted.
Okay, I finally got through here. I had trouble with my computer making it work. Josh has been helping me also. My name is Ted Ember. I found a solution for your system for lighting. What happened is I don't know how many of you know that I developed a LED streetlight with wind turbine and solar panels that actually produces power that we can actually sell the power back to the grid. That will lower your costs for lighting on walking trails and also on the road. And it can benefit maybe the school. The money goes towards the school that will be a revenue basically. And I have the capability of providing those poles.
That's great news, Ted. That's certainly, we'll make a note of that as well. And you know, if we can cut costs, if we can make money for lowering costs, that's absolutely wonderful. And Josh, thanks for helping Ted get his question to us.
Yeah, that's that was my suggestion. And if somebody can give me a direction, who can I put a proposal together and actually provide it to who that I can should I contact Urban System on this project and show them the proposal and the product that I have that I can provide for this project? Crystal,
you can answer that one.
Yes, thank you, Director Giddings. You can submit it to myself, Crystal Brown. My contact information is on the Have Your Say page, so you can get my phone number and my email from there. And I look forward to receiving it.
That'd be great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Yep.
Okay, while we're kind of waiting for other people to come up with a question they want to ask, I'm kind of curious to know, I know they were planning on doing some improvements at the school. Has anybody heard anything more? Guess not, eh? Oh, we still got lots of time. Looking for more questions. You'd probably be happy to know too, while you're all on the online here, that we are certainly trying to improve the communications out here and the connectivity. So hopefully, hopefully in the near future that will be improved as well. Anybody got likes, dislikes?
We got some thumbs up from Daniel.
Okay, right on.
Oh, we have another question that came in. This one's from someone anonymous. They said, are you expecting responses of chosen options on here, or is filling out the survey enough? I know I want as many people to fill out the option or the survey, even if you give an option, but if you have an option that you want to tell us now, you can do that too. This is more for answering any questions that you have. Dr. Goodings, did you have anything else you want to add?
No, I think you've summed it up very well. Certainly to fill out that second survey is going to be critically important. But, you know, this is an opportunity tonight in the next 20 minutes to ask questions that you may have about the project and whether or not we should be proceeding. Maybe we shouldn't even be proceeding. Like, we're looking to you, the community, to tell us what you want.
We have a comment. Edward said option 1.
Okay, thank you, Edward. Don't forget to fill out the survey though, and let us know that too.
Oh, we have another person that said definitely option 1.
Excellent. Good. And we're open to all comments. How many surveys did we get in, Crystal? Do you recall? Not a lot, right?
Oh, I do not remember, but I can go back and look, and I can post that on to have your say if you want.
Okay, well, just a reminder to people that, you know, we do these surveys, and nobody likes a survey. Like, we all hate them. Like, who wants to fill out a stupid survey? But at the same time, that's how we get the information that we need in order to put these options together.
Okay, we have some more comments. Daniel said option 1. Helen said definitely option 1. And then Anonymous said, Wonowon internet is bad. You will probably receive lots of answers after the meeting is over.
Oh, right on. Yes.
So Director Goodings, I just went back and looked, and there was 28 submissions for the first survey.
Okay, well, that's a start. I know there's more than 28 out there, so.
We have one more question. Igor asked, what is the percentage of residents you will need to choose option 1 in order to proceed with the project?
Good question. So, you know, normally what we do is we look at the majority. So in this case, I'm sure that's what we would be looking for, at the majority of the residents choose option 1. And that's the option that we would put forward for consideration in a referendum. So yeah, that's the way it'll be determined.
We have one more comment. Andy said option 1 for sure.
Thanks, Andy.
And Anonymous also said option 1.
So, and I guess we do know too that this is a repayment period of 10 years. So for 10 years, your taxes would reflect that. At the end of the 10 years, when the loan is paid for, because we're going to have to borrow the money in order to do it. When that's done, that comes off your taxes. But it would still have to have some there for improvements and for maintenance. So that, just you have to keep that in mind as well.
And property acquisition. We cannot build it if we can't get access to the land.
The trail in particular, right? I mean, we could do the road and you can do the lights, but well, I don't even know what the lights, depending on what the lights look like, because if it's solar, maybe it'll be much easier.
And I believe to upgrade the ditches for the road as well, we need access. Urban and Jamie or Graham, do you guys want to add to that if we needed access for the road as well?
Sorry, it's Jamie here. I just know Graham he is struggling with his connection. When you said access for the road, what do you mean?
Just to clarify, Crystal, you mean to do the reditching?
Yeah, the land acquisition. Right.
The way that
Go ahead, Graham.
Sorry. I was just saying the way that we were looking at it, that's kind of why we said both sides of the road should be prepared for land acquisition in case it's needed for the width of the road. So ditching may, depending on the road standard that is chosen, ditching may need to go into private property or
So
what
we
would
would
be
have-
acquired property. Does that
that would
answer
be-
the question?
That would be land acquisition that we would require.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes, that answers it. Thank you, Graham.
In some locations, not all locations, not necessarily all locations, but yeah.
But until we determine which option and what the people want to move ahead, it's pretty difficult to say even where the acquisition would be required. Although I guess we have to have that information first.
I was going to say, Director Goodings, on the project documents, on Have Your Say in the trail concepts, there are some areas that have been identified as really high probabilities that we will need to acquire land for the trail. So there is some options, but in general, it's just best to assume that we may need your land in order to do the ditches or the lighting or the trails.
So the
We have some
trail.
more comments.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say we have some more comments and questions, but you can go on, Director Goodings.
No, please go ahead, Hunter. I was just, go ahead.
Okay, from Lily and another anonymous attendee and Waldemir, all like option 1. Waldemir also asked, is it possible to add speed bumps?
Anything's possible. We'll add that in there as a possibility. Good comment.
A question from Igor.
Can I add something from our MOTI?
Yes, go ahead, Graham.
Just something that came up in our conversations with MOTI was the speed limit.
Well, we lost you again, Graham.
If it's not posted, it's. Can you hear me now?
You cut out.
Parts of you, yeah.
Oh, love technology.
So you're saying if the speed limit is not posted, it's what?
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
I believe 80. Yeah.
Not in the subdivision.
Can you
surely
hear? No.
Oh, we can't hear you now, Graham. We'll just move on. You can tell me and I can post your answer.
We have a question from Igor. Some residents asked him if BC assessments will increase from original values after the project is complete. Would you comment on that?
Okay, so now I'll make sure that I've got the question right before I attempt to answer it. So once these improvements are done, will that raise the value of your property? Is that what you're asking, Igor?
Yes, I think so.
Okay, and you know, we would probably have to talk to assessment about that because I'm not sure what they base the improvements on, if they base it on the road in front of your home or if they just base it on your home. I don't believe that they would go up because of the improvements, but that's my thinking, not necessarily assessments. So that's a good question and we'll add that to the list. We will find out what the answer is.
From an anonymous attendee, how long would this project take?
That's a very, very good question. It all depends on the consensus that we receive from the survey. So if there's a majority answer that comes back, we can move ahead. And part of our follow-up meeting is to give you guys some timelines around what it will take. And there's a lot of legislative requirements that the regional district has to follow, and those timelines are already set in stone. In addition to when I talked about funding. So if we want to apply for grants or ask for corporate donations, those will all take place. I wish I had a straight answer, but I don't. Once we get the funding and once we get the benefiting area set up, we still need to do public procurement. So it is a long process. So that's why it's really important that as many people fill out the survey as possible so that we can get a clear direction on next steps.
We all know how slow government moves. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you have anything you want to add to that?
I was just going to say, we all know how slow government moves. I mean, it's not our government, it's not our local government necessarily, but it has to jump through the provincial hoops as well. So it is a time consuming, and you can bet that it's not going to happen in 2021. That I can almost guarantee, much as I would like to say it could.
All right, we got a couple more questions. Alex would like to make a comment. I would go with option 1. Would like to see speed bumps and 30-kilometer-hour speed zones through the whole subdivision.
Okay, good comment.
And Edward said, I think a radar system with a camera would be more effective than speed bumps. And if enough people participate in having their pictures taken, it could possibly help offset maintenance costs.
Okay, well, we'll put it down as one of the comments for sure.
A comment from Helen, I agree with Edward.
Okay, good. Oh, we still got about 10 minutes.
We got a comment from Graham from the question he was trying to answer earlier. He said to Alex's question, disappeared 1 sec. A request for a speed limit change would need to go through the Ministry of Transportation. And when Urban Systems spoke with them, they considered dropping it to 60 kilometers an hour.
Still too fast in a subdivision, I'm sorry.
And then he said default is 80 kilometers if unposted.
Well, that's a good discussion to have with them. Once the decision's made to do it or not do it.
Hello.
Hey.
Hello.
Hi, guys. It's Josh here. Yeah, I'd like to go with option 1.
Okay, thanks, Josh.
Yep.
It's good to know. Yeah, and of course, you know, the taxes could be trimmed a little bit, provided we get grants and we get some corporate donation. I mean, we don't borrow the money at the outset. We borrow it only as we need it. And so if we can, you know, once the project receives approval, if it does, then we would have the opportunity to search for grants and for corporate sponsorship.
Okay, I don't see any more questions coming in, and no one else has their hands up. Another survey just came in.
Excellent.
Awesome. Oh,
So,
we have another comment.
Oh, good.
Speed bumps could possibly pose a challenge for road maintenance, snow plowing, etc.
Yeah, has to be taken into consideration.
We have another question from Igor. Property tax increase will come into effect during the project or after it's complete?
Property tax increases would not happen until the money had to be borrowed. And so on the year that it is borrowed, that's when you would see your taxes would go up. At least that's my understanding. Now, if I'm wrong, tell me. Crystal, I know Trish is there in the background too, and she probably has lots of experience with that kind of thing. Maybe she'd like to.
Yeah, she's here. I'm here, Director Gooding. Yes, that's my understanding. That the taxes would go up in the year that you borrow, assuming that you're borrowing at the time when you need it to pay for your capital costs.
Yeah.
You wouldn't borrow before you need it to pay for your capital costs.
Absolutely not. We have actually some really good news for the regional district, because I think we've just received another award on our very good handling of financial issues within the regional district in the past year, and so that's a compliment to the regional district. We don't spend unless we need to. Still got some time, 5 more minutes.
We have another question from Alex. Do we know if trucks could drive on the pavement to access their property, as Josh mentioned earlier, or is it not known yet?
I think that would, no, I'm not an engineer, but I think that would depend on the amount, you know, the quality of pavement or the thickness of the pavement. And I know that MODI, Ministry of Transportation, has standards that we would have to follow. So that would be another good question that we could certainly pose to them for an answer. And I think it does depend, though, on the grade of asphalt.
This is Jamie here. Sorry, I don't know if you guys can hear me or if Graham's there, but the MODI considers that road a low volume road. And so the cost estimates that we've done to date would not assume additional structure and aggregate that would likely be required for heavy truck traffic. And again, like I said, it's not by MODI standard considered an industrial or a heavy traffic road. So that's just something for consideration.
And that's a good point, because I think that we need to talk to MODI. We need to, you know, make sure that they're aware of that this is not just an SUV community. There are certainly lots of trucks up there that require being able to get to their residents one way or another. They would definitely want the standard because they are going to be responsible for maintaining once it is structured, once it's built.
Hi guys, it's Josh here again. I got another question from Ted here.
Go ahead.
Ted.
Hi, I am this was kind of into the regards that I proposed to the option with the wind and solar street lighting. The benefit of this systems is the power would be sold to BC Hydro, so the revenue will be steady stream revenue from day one once it's installed. The second what's best about the systems is the cost. You guys don't have to borrow the money in order to pay for the lighting because they're existing under the Green Energy Act. There are actually government grants that can be obtained. So instead of borrowing the money to pay for the lighting installation to begin with, this can be obtained from the government under the Green Energy Act. So my systems are qualified for government grants. That is just the customer has to apply for it. So which that would be you. So instead of borrowing the money to pay for the lighting, this money can come from the government, which it doesn't have to be repaid. And at the same time, this systems that I'm proposing can bring a stream of revenue continuously for the next 25 years, which I provide warranty to my product.
Well, it's a good comment, Ted. We'll make sure that we take a good hard look at that once the project, if and when the project is approved.
Okay. Well, thank you kindly.
Thank you.
Right on, buddy.
Director Giddings, we have another question from Igor. Who can complete the survey number 2? Only property owners affected or any residents in the Wonowon area? At this time, we want to hear from everybody in the Wonowon area, and there is an option to let us know if you're within the proposed area or not. If we move to the point of a service function, there will be limitations on who can vote and who cannot. But we will follow up in the next meeting on more information on that. But right now, we want to hear from everybody.
Thanks, Crystal. Okay, we're getting very close to the 7 o'clock time frame. I think Zoom kind of fades out on us here right quick. So last chance for any comments or questions, or?
We have one more.
We have one more question. Is the PRD planning to subdivide more crown land so people can buy and build their houses and stay in the community?
So I'll answer this question this way, because most of that land that surrounds the community of Wonowon is not only crown land, it's probably within the agricultural land reserve, and so requires some input to them. Certainly we have told them over the years that the community is growing, that we need to look to what can we do, and they of course would wait for an application. So it would depend on what the land is and where it is. A crown land application could be filed by anybody who wishes to expand the residential area. At this point, the regional district does not have a plan to do that. Several years ago, we attempted to do a bit of a community planning process. Evelyn will remember that very well. And it kind of, for some reason or another, just faded away. But I think it certainly is a comment that's well taken, because I think you are a growing community. So Crown Land is certainly an option. Would require an application.
We have another comment. It's from Harry. He says we need another code, but I think it's supposed, I wonder if it's supposed to be cost to have payment that we can drive our trucks on the road.
Yeah, I think that's a good question to go back to Modi with, you know, because they would have to understand the traffic that would be on the road and the weight of that traffic. So that's a good question. We'll add it to the mix. Okay, well, I guess we're at the end, unless we got last minute comments. No? Then I do want to thank everybody for joining us this evening, because it's really, really important, you know, to get the information and to find out how people are thinking and what they think would be the best. And we really, really encourage having you fill out that second survey, and please ask anybody who was not able to join us this evening that is interested. They can go on website. Crystal will be able to help us with information on how you would do that. And they can view the whole Zoom meeting. So that would be a good start for them as well. So Crystal, did you want to, or somebody want to add on how they would do that?
Yeah, you can just go on to the Peace River Regional District website, and when you log on to our main page on the right-hand side, there's a Have Your Say logo. When you click on that logo, you scroll down and it will say Wonowon Community Improvements. And when you click onto that feature, you'll have all of the different tabs. So you'll have project documents, you'll have cost of property taxes, property taxes. Then you'll have the map with the proposed benefiting area. There's a Q&A section where residents can actually start putting in questions right on the website, and we'll answer them as they come in. They can see the survey, and as soon as we upload the video, you'll be able to watch the video as well.
That's
and if you can't find it, just email me, crystal.brown@prrd.bc.ca, and I can send you the link directly.
Okay, I think we're about out of time. So thanks everybody for joining us this evening. I want to especially thank staff as well for all the input and the work that they've done on this, and for the work that Urban Systems has done. So we look forward to the surveys coming in. We look forward to further communication, and please pass that on to all your neighbors. We're here to listen. Thank you, and good night.
Bye.